Last time we were together, we were in Glacier National Park on the west side. But there's even more to see on the east side.
Much more.
Yeah, but before we can talk about what we did there, we actually had to get ourselves from the west side to the east side. So Julie, take it away.
So we had originally thought we would take the Sun Road, not realizing that it wouldn't be completely open for us. But there is another route you can take, and it's called US Route 2. That is the alternative route to get from one side of the park to the other, depending on which side you're on. It goes around the southern border of the park, and it takes about 2 hours to drive. And there's lots of stops along the way, and we made a few when we were going.
Yeah, so if you make the stops, it's going to take you longer than 2 hours. But the stops give you an opportunity to get out, stretch your legs, and see some cool things.
And I always thought that, one of the things that we love doing the most is not really trying to rush through things, but, to really take our time and look at everything that's around us.
So last couple of days we were in West Glacier, and the plan for the next several days is to be on the east side of the park. When we were planning the trip, the thought was that we were going to drive going to the Sun Road, but it turns out that when we're visiting, when we're toward the end of June, that there's still a chunk of that road that is closed. They're still clearing it, so you can't drive the going to the Sun Road from the west to the east at this time. We were able to get as far as the area for Trail of the Cedars, and that's where they closed the road yesterday. So today, to get to the east side of the park, there's an alternate route that runs the southern perimeter of Glacier National Park, so we're driving it. Still able to see some beautiful scenery.
One of our first stops that we were at was called Goat Lick Overlook. There was a turnoff, and I said, just go there. Mm-hmm. And so we ended up going down there, and there was actually a parking lot. And there was an area where you could walk down a pathway that went down to an overlook, and this place was Goat Lick Overlook. And there was actually a goat that was seen by somebody, and we got a chance to see it from a distance too. So apparently there are rocks there that are full of salt, and the goats come and get some of their nutrients from this salt. It was a pretty overlook. It had a really huge gorge, and it had some water features in it, a stream that went through it. So it was just like a really nice stop. If you have binoculars, it is a nice thing to bring. So we got back in the car, and about midway along this route, you're going to cross this place called Ariahs Pass. Elevation 5,216 feet. This is where the highway exits the Rocky Mountains and makes its way through the northern plains. If you like highway turnoff attractions, you're going to want to stop here because it has a massive view. It's gorgeous view. It seemed like it was a little high up, so you had this great long spanning view of the mountainous region. We're at the Ariahs Pass. This is the Continental Divide, which is right here. So it comes like this.
And you are here. There. Right outside Glacier National Park.
So there's a layer of white, some kind of rock. And at that layer right there, that is actually where there was a massive earthquake in one of the plates in the ocean that moved the top of this mountain hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. And this massive quake took place like 72 million years ago or something. It was like when the Rockies were being formed. So I thought that was really cool to be able to see that lying within the mountain here. It's pretty cool. And at this place, I think what caught my eye first was this big obelisk. And it's 60 foot high, and it's called the Roosevelt Obelisk. And it is a statue that's patterned after the Washington Monument. So we stopped there. We took a bunch of photos there, and we ran into a family there that was really fun. And they had been traveling together for different vacations that they have taken, and they do it as a family. And one of the sisters had passed away, so in remembrance of her, they would bring this little skeleton. I think they had a name for the skeleton.
They did, but apparently the skeleton goes everywhere with this family.
And then they take pictures with the skeleton, and it's kind of a memorial to the sister. So I thought that was kind of fun. And this is one of those things where you find fun people along the way, and you end up talking to them.
It should have a blog or a YouTube channel or something.
So we went to Iowa for the funeral, and we stayed in a VRBO. It was a big mansion. It had like, I don't know, 12 rooms or some ridiculous thing. Well, in the basement was this skeleton. And so what I did is I snuck down there and took it and I put it in somebody's bed.
Oh.
And, so and that thing went all over the place for a week. It ended up in different people's rooms. And our sister that passed away had this skeleton in a box in a closet. And her daughter gave it to her not knowing the skeleton was in there. And she was saying, oh shoot, I should have found a little miniature skeleton to take with us. So they named the big one that we found Gertrude, and they call this one Gertie.
Gertie.
So everything we do, that thing's part of it. And so the ramblings of Gertie is on WhatsApp.
Okay.
So that's the story behind that thing.
Pictures everywhere.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So normally we would have stopped at Logan Pass, which is another Continental Divide point. So we can't be there, but we saw the another one on the south side, and we're just enjoying the views here.
And before we actually entered East Glacier, the highway boundary of the Blackfeet Indian Reservation, there's a turnoff that provides some history about that Indian tribe there too.
Okay, we are at a turnoff going towards St. Mary's that appears to be like a Blackfeet Indian related area. There's placards here, some metal teepees, and wonderful views of the mountains. And we're gonna go take a quick peek.
This area, the story of why it is called St. Mary's is because there was a Father De Smet who came here in a blinding snowstorm, and upon seeing one of these mountains here, fell to his knees in prayer and said, "We will now call this place St. Mary's." Another man, Hugh Monroe, was a fur trader from Canada, and he was the first white man here in 1815, and he built this cabin. It's actually a picture of him here. And on the East Lake, and so he kept the observance of naming it St. Mary's after Father Lacombe and Monroe built a cross, erected a cross here. So that's how it got its name. And Mr. Monroe, Hugh Monroe, lived to be 108 years old.
That's a long time.
Long time.
Yep.
Wow.
Good for Mr. Monroe. So in front of us, we have a mountain that for a long time was known to the Blackfeet as Natoyistak, and that's one of the names of the mountain that they would call it. In the late 1800s, there was a man named James Willard Schultz who had a friend named George Bird Grinnell. And we know Grinnell in this area, who somewhere in this area killed a sheep with a single shot, and from that point they refer to this mountain as Single Shot Mountain.
So there's all kinds of history that's on this highway, alongside of the highway, that if you are interested, is a fun thing to stop and just get a brief overview of that part of, Montana.
Thanks for watching this video. We hope you've seen some things that'll help you plan your future travel adventures.
And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and like us. And if you have any comments, we'd love to hear from you.
And until next time, keep on traveling, and we hope to see you at the places where we go.
Eating your sandwich. Gorgeous.
Pretty fantastic view for a pullover for a little bit of lunch. Can't beat this kind of view.